Crash Course History! I'll be your substitute host today in absence of Mr. Green. Of course, assisting me today will be Mr. Alvarez. Together we will dive into the history of a very special trading city known as Guangzhou and what it was like during its heyday, or prime so to speak.
Mr. Osmani, since we're learning about hay, do we need to learn about farms too?
From the past, the term heyday refers to the period of someone's or something's greatest success / popularity. Please don't interrupt me again.
Banana, banana, na 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 na.
Guangzhou, or better known to Westerners as Canton, actually didn't start off as Guangzhou. It was called Penyu at first, with its earliest inhabitants known as the Beiyu. It is located near the edge of Guangdong, a large province in China, or for you geography slackers, relatively close to Hong Kong. Being located in China, most of the ethnic composition was Chinese. More specifically, modern-day Guangzhou's primary ethnic group are known as the Han. However, it's hard to pinpoint the specific ethnic composition during the heyday for two reasons. Firstly, Guangzhou had many heydays, and secondly, Guangzhou also fell under many different dynasties. Penyu started off as a small town under the Zhou dynasty, but it didn't get its name till the Han dynasty, and even then it was still a useful trading port.
As demonstrated by the picture, the location of the city obviously helped. On the bank of the Pearl River, it was a practical spot to have a town full of people ready to trade. Easy access through the waters, right through the city resting on the bank, made it a preferable spot for merchants to trade. But the vulnerability of the city also made it a popular spot for raiders.
Some of the city's first visitors were Arab and Hindu merchants ready to trade or to sack all the inhabitants for their goods. The city really started to get the credit it deserved under the Song dynasty. There was a boom in population and trade, and therefore the Song started to expand the city. This brings us to the first heyday of Guangzhou. Isn't this exciting? During this time, Guangzhou became the biggest trading port, only to be overtaken by the rival city of Quanzhou around 1200 CE. Luckily, through a turn of events, our city once again took the title of the biggest trading port, all in thanks to the Mongols. The Mongols may have led a brutal siege on China, but it actually set Guangzhou on a whole new path for a whole new heyday.
This image represents the savageries of the Mongols, as they ransack a town by killing everybody in their sights and burning down all the homes. And it should also give you a taste of what Mongol sieges look like.
As you can imagine, this led to some serious destruction in Guangdong. Families would move out of their houses and seek refuge in our great city of Guangzhou. So while Guangzhou still took a beating from the Mongols, once the threat had passed, the city boomed economically. The Yun dynasty took advantage of the successful trading port by using it to keep the peace with the Mongols. The last real, and in my opinion best, heyday of ancient Guangzhou was during the Qing dynasty. This is the period of time where China started to act like a high school teenager, refusing to interact with anyone outside of their comfort zone, thinking that they were superior to everyone. The Chinese did not see a need for Western goods. Therefore, around 1760, China refused to have mass trade with foreigners, but still allowed small-scale trade from Guangzhou. This was known as the Canton system, and it was pretty simple. All foreigners would only be allowed to trade within Guangzhou. Obviously, this pushed the trading port to its another golden era.
Through this system, the Koang were created. The Koang were essentially a guild of security merchants supervising foreigners. These men were some of the most powerful Koang, and as seen by their attire, they were pretty wealthy for merchants. This is because there was a lot of corruption among the Koang, as they would end up ripping off many foreigners while they traded their goods such as iron, silver, porcelain, silk, and tea.
Guangzhou would offer goods such as porcelain, tea, and silk, which were actually very popular items to trade. This made the port city the wealthiest it had ever been. That brings us to the end of the heydays for Guangzhou. I mean, the city still went on to be very useful, like being the bargaining chip in the Treaty of Nanjing, or as a base to station troops. But the point is that it's no longer the flourishing trade city in its prime. It's more of a tool used by the government. Now I will leave it to my great partner, Mr. Alvarez, to continue educating you guys about this great trading port. Ooh! Guess it's time for the open letter. Ah, it's rice with lamb in it. Ah.
Every city has its own myth or legend of how it came to be. Guangzhou is no exception. Legend has it that 5 gods descended from heaven astride lambs, bringing with them 5 years of corn to save the local population from starvation. As simple as this legend may be, it gave the iconic name to Guangzhou, Lamb City. Yours truly, John Green. That's all I have to say for right now. Take it away, Mr. Alvarez.